Hello, I'm Tom. This is Tactical Breach Wizards. This is a beta version of the game that we recently had testers play, and I'm just going to play through the first two missions of it just to give a flavour of what the game is like now, because it's changed a fair bit since we last showed it. So I'm playing as Navy Seer here. This is my only unit for this mission. He is a Special Forces operative who can see a short distance into the future, and he's in this police station because he was tracking a rival team of Special Forces wizards who have just hit this police station to break a prisoner out of jail for reasons you don't know yet. And Navy Seer shows up just after them. He is taken to be part of the strike, and so the police are attacking him on sight, and he's just got to bust his way out of this station. So the game's about breaching these relatively small rooms. This one's very small, but they get a bit bigger than this. And taking out hostiles in a kind of semi-strategic, semi-puzzly kind of way. My goal on this mission is just to figure out how to survive two enemies, because this is a tutorial level, and so one of the first things you've got to get your head around is that, okay, there's two enemies, they're both targeting me. If I do nothing about it, in fact, let's rewind. If I do nothing about it, they're going to shoot me. But if you move yourself strategically here, you can ensure that only one of them is targeting at any one time, and then you can just take that person out. So one of the core features, in fact, is that rewind. You can rewind within a turn as much as you like. So you can keep trying things. In fact, let's... this is what happens if I do nothing. This is what happens if I shoot him. I've used up my action, but it didn't take him out. It's only taken him off one of his health points. So that's not going to work. I could try and hide from him, but he's going to find me and take me out. And so by just experimenting and trying things, I can figure out that I actually need to use this other ability, Reflex Foresight, which sets up a kind of Overwatch zone to lay a trap for him. And that ability does a huge amount of damage. It's just you have to be sure that they're going to run into your Overwatch zone to make sure it works. So normally you'll be breaching a room with more than one wizard, and I will show you another one in a minute, but these tutorial levels just stick with one, just so you can get your head around their abilities before you move on to the next one. This one is just teaching you that you can redeploy before you actually breach. If you haven't breached yet, you can move your wizards around to make sure they start where you want them to start. And in this case, that's going to be essential to make sure that I don't get swamped by these melee guys. And now, having used that laptop, I'm done. Those laptops aren't doing anything at the moment, which they will. They're going to be for opening security doors, basically. It's going to be, you're trapped. You're trying to get it through these locked doors, and you need to open those. And they obviously won't be the only kind of objective. Between missions, you're going to be upgrading your wizards with various perks. And the one I'm going to go for here is called Time Grenade. This one means I can basically give my action to another squad mate, because the Navy Seer is actually about not just time abilities, but also he's trying to be a good leader by supporting his team and making sure they get the glory and they do the fun stuff, and he's supporting them and making them better. Also between missions there's conversations. I'm just going to click through this fairly fast. I don't want to read it out loud because I wrote it and that feels a bit weird. But this is all placeholder text, there's no actual story stuff in here. This is just what we wrote for the beta, so that you could at least see how it feels like having, a conversation to break up the action. Okay, so this is Witch Cop. She works at this police station that Navy Seer finds himself in, or did until today when she was fired. She's been fired after a long string of conflicts with the department, the latest of which involves a case that is going to be relevant to your plot, which I won't go into because I don't want to spoil anything. But this mission is not going to play out how it does currently, because there's no story right now. I'm just telling you what story will be. It's not in there. Witch Cop is not going to start attacking her colleagues until she runs into Navy Seer, who is an old friend of hers, and she's just been fired. They're about to kill her friend, and so she joins him and helps him break out. But ability-wise, Witch Cop is about pushing people around, because she's a storm witch, so all of her abilities are kind of lightning and blasts of air and things like that, which are good at knocking people around. Her basic one just shoots people 2 squares, which is really good for knocking them out of windows. But she can also, once she has mana, she can use Chain Bolt, which means she can target multiple enemies, and the bolt will course through in the order that she chooses. And not only does it go in the order she chooses, but the direction that it knocks people is the direction that the bolt is coming from in each case. So you can knock multiple people in multiple different directions, which has a huge amount of potential uses and flexibility for solving tricky situations. This one I'm just going to skip because I want to get ahead to showing you having an actual team. So in this is a mission where Witch Cop has got to save Navy Seer, and Navy Seer's in trouble. If we just do nothing, he's going to get bludgeoned again. He can't really set up his reflex foresight in a way that this guy is going to walk into. So he needs some help, but there's another problem, which is if Witch Cop just wants to run in to help him, she gets shot. So she's going to have to help him from outside. She can't quite target this guy directly. And if Navy Seer sets up a Overwatch zone and then Witch Cop knocks this guy into it, that does enough damage to take out that guy. And in fact, Navy Seer's Reflex Foresight, the idea behind that ability is that he's predicting somebody is going to be in his line of fire. And so if he's right, if someone does go in his line of fire, he gets his action back. And so he can actually act again and take out this guy, which is going to let Witch Cop into the room. So I don't know if this exact puzzle is going to survive, but that kind of logic of figuring out ways for your wizard's abilities to work together can be kind of cool, and it's something we want to build on. I think, since these guys are right next to each other, I think if I just hit them like that, that's going to knock her out. If you knock someone into something, however much knockback they have left over is taken as damage. And then this person, they didn't take any damage though, that's a problem, because they're also not up against anything. So I can shoot them with Navy Seer, but Navy Seer's attack only does 1 knockback and 1 damage, neither of which is enough to resolve that. So actually, I've probably done that the wrong way around. What if Navy Seer shoots them first? Although not from that angle. If Navy Seer goes here and shoots them, that knocks out one and puts the other in a position where Witch Cop could, in theory, shoot him, but I didn't rewind far enough, so she's already used her move, so I actually just need to go back a bit further. So same idea. Knock out one, position the other just where we want them, and then Witch Cop can take them out. And I'll move her a bit away from the wall just to leave her in a better spot. Okay, so now we've got another melee guy. These guys are very tough, so I think we can do something similar to what we did in the first turn. If we set up an Overwatch zone behind him, and then Witch Cop knocks him into it. Now she's out of actions, but Navy Seer got his action back, so he can deal with this tracker. That's 1 damage from direct damage, and then 1 damage from knocking him into Witch Cop. Now, this mission we're fighting the Traffic Warlock, who is, well, he's a Traffic Warlock. He summons ghost cars, obviously. This is a boss. He's got 2 armor, quite a lot of health. He's going to be quite tricky to take out. But he's not the first thing we need to deal with, because in between here and there, we've got a whole load of enemies and explosive barrels and various things like that. I could do, with Chain Shock, I could do something like, if I chain it to this guy, what you can target is not based on your line of sight, it's based on line of sight to where the bolt is coming from. So from there I can hit this barrel, and from that barrel I can hit the Traffic Warlock. So that took out this tracker. That barrel blew up, hit that barrel, which also knocked into this guy, which knocked him out. And we did some significant damage to the Traffic Warlock, actually. That was good. Navy Seer, we can't do much about this guy because we can't get behind him to get a good angle to knock him into something. But we can at least deal with this tracker. And now the Traffic Warlock has taken aim at us. So, and new enemies are coming in through these doors. When the light is lit up, it means an enemy's going to come next turn. When it's not, it won't. I think we're going to let you seal these doors as well, like put a sort of magical barrier on them, if you can get to them. So this guy, this Grenadier, I don't need to worry about him, because he's standing in the traffic Warlock's blast zone, and he's going to find out why that was a bad idea. I think if Navy Seer can afford to spend his action to set up an Overwatch zone, I think that'll get this Enforcer when he runs for us. And then Witch Cub Halsey needs to get out of the way of the traffic Warlock. She can take out this guy. And then let's preview that. Yep, that takes out the Grenadier. The Ghost Cars dealt with him. Oh, and yeah, on the enemy turn, the melee guy ran into Seer's Overwatch zone. So I wonder if... Let me just try what happens if Navy Seer shoots like that. No, it doesn't quite work. But, okay, let's try this. Navy Seer is going to set up an Overwatch zone there. Witch Cop is going to go over here. And if she targets this tracker, that'll knock him against the wall and take him out. And then the Bolt can shoot in that direction to push the Warlock into the Overwatch. And that's enough to take him out. So that's this mission basically done. And that's Tactical Breach Wizards. If you like the look of it, please wishlist it, because that's a huge help to us. And we have no idea when it will be out, as always.